Hi, everyone. I'm Tom Hanson. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin this hour south of the border where Vice President Kamala Harris is in Mexico City for the second leg of her first foreign trip as VP. Ms. Harris met with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, who has been a vocal critic of President Biden. The pair discussed a range of issues, including how to curb the flow of migrants coming from Central America to the U.S. southern border. The vice president's visit comes amid a sobering new report conducted by the Department of Homeland Security. The report suggests up to 2,100 children who were split from their families near the border during the Trump administration may still be separated from their parents. For more, let's bring in Sean Sullivan. He is a CBS News political contributor and White House reporter for The Washington Post. Sean, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. Let's start with border policy. That seems to always be a politically fraught issue and one that has dogged the Biden administration for months. Has the White House indicated what they want to see from Mexico in terms of combating migration at the U.S. southern border?
Well, I think what they want is to foster a better relationship with the Mexican government. As you noted earlier, the relationship has sometimes been tense. It's not always been the best relationship, even though these are two allied countries. I think they're looking for help in terms of enforcement. Right now, you're right, the border has been a politically fraught issue. It's an issue that's also fraught with a lot of complicated policy issues. And this administration has not really, so far at least, we're still in the early days of the Biden administration, but so far has not appeared to come up with a solution that has satisfied critics, not just in the Republican Party, but you're also seeing Democrats critical of the Biden administration's border policy. So I think with this trip, you have Vice President Harris going to the region. This is her first trip abroad outside the United States as vice president. I think she's trying to send a message that, look, we want a better relationship. We want to work with you. But there are also issues of trust, I think, on both sides. So it's not clear that we're going to see any real big breakthroughs coming out of this trip on either side, either, in terms of victories that the U.S. government can claim or victories that the Mexican government can claim right now, I should say.
Certainly, she did not mince words by saying do not come. She did send one clear message to the migrants who are making that difficult trek, to the United States for a better life. Switching gears to infrastructure, President Biden is expected to speak again today with Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia. She, of course, is the lead Republican and talks over a bipartisan infrastructure package. Do we know where those negotiations stand?
Well, Tom, right now it looks like we don't appear, at least right now at this moment, to be on the verge of a breakthrough. We've seen numerous meetings between Senator Capito, between the White House, President Biden. We've seen conversations between the two sides, but we haven't really seen any breakthroughs. We've seen offers and counteroffers, but the reality is the Republicans are still pretty far apart from President Biden and the White House in terms of what they are willing to back in an infrastructure package. You see disagreements about how to pay for this infrastructure package. You see disagreements about how large it should be, how much money the government should spend. And then you have even more fundamental disagreements about what should constitute infrastructure. What should infrastructure mean? What should these projects be about? And we really haven't seen the impasse broken. So this could be something of sort of a last-ditch effort between the two sides to forge some sort of bipartisan agreement, because the reality is the president is leaving the country for this long overseas trip. So this could be the last real opportunity, at least right now in the near term, for them to come up with some sort of deal. But I've talked to Republicans and Democrats on both sides. Nobody is really confident right now that any sort of deal can be struck. And we've seen, this type of meeting, this type of conversation happen over and over again, and we just haven't seen any breakthroughs. So unless something changes in this dynamic, it doesn't look likely like we're going to see some sort of big deal here.
Now, switching topics here. Meantime, Senator Joe Manchin dealt the White House and Democrats a pretty big blow over the weekend, saying he would not back a Democratic voting rights bill. As we know, Manchin is usually a make or break vote in the upper chamber. And based on sources you've spoken with, are Democrats starting to panic a little bit over the path forward politically?
Yeah, they really are, specifically on the topic of voting rights. I talked to a lot of Democrats who don't really see how they can move forward from here. You've got a 50-50 Senate, and without Senator Manchin being on board with the voting rights bill, you've got a problem. That problem is compounded by the fact that Senator Manchin does not favor doing away with the filibuster. And so that adds another hurdle for Democrats. How do they get 60 votes, which is what you need to break a filibuster. 50 is looking impossible right now. 60, looks incredibly impossible. And so this is a real bind that Democrats are in right now. They are looking at what's going on in some of these states around the country, places like Texas, Florida, Arizona, Georgia, where Republican state legislatures, Republican state governments are changing the voting laws. And Democrats are really, really worried about this. And it is, sort of verging on panic right now. And they don't know how they can resolve this. The solution they've presented is this legislation that they're hoping to pass. But Senator Manchin says he's not prepared to support that. He's not prepared to support ending the filibuster. So Democrats are sort of left scrambling now. What do they do next? And I don't think anybody has a real clear answer. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of Democrats lash out against Senator Manchin. They've been pretty critical of him in the last 24 to 48 hours here. They're not holding back in their concerns. They're not holding back in their criticism. But we'll see if this changes anything. For Manchin, he's got his own political considerations. He comes from a state that voted for Donald Trump pretty heavily, that has a lot of conservative voters. So he is trying to portray his record as one that is very centrist, one that is very moderate. I think you're trying to see him strike that balance. But that's, bumping up against the goals that a lot of Democrats have, which is, look, we want to pass this voting bill. So right now, really a logjam in the Democratic Party, no clear way for them to get out of it.
Yeah, certainly this voting legislation is something we'll be watching very closely for weeks and months to come. Sean Sullivan, thank you so much for your insight.
Thanks.